Hey guys, welcome back to the Scratch Golf Show. If you're new here to the channel, if you could hit subscribe, like, comment the video below. We're on the road to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. If you're new to the channel, like I said, thanks for joining. If you're a returning viewer, we have another instance of the Caddy Corner. If you're a new viewer, I do a lot of PGA Tour and Live caddies or just caddies in general. So we have a really cool caddy who I'll introduce here in a minute. But like I said, just like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. I'll link all that in the description as well as our guests stuff who we'll talk about, like I said, in a minute. Just want to shout out our sponsors, Core Chiropractic and Performance Center, local family-owned business here in Michigan. If you're local to the area, please check them out. I just saw Dr. Billy on Tuesday, had me feeling great. My wife saw Dr. Maddie. We can't endorse their services enough. CoreCPC.com in the description. Mention the Scratch Golf Show upon arrival to receive a discount on your first appointment. And then Breakfast Ball Golf Sim, the best and newest golf simulator here in Michigan. Book your TrackMan tee time below. Just filmed some stuff there last week. It's a really cool spot to hang out. Like I said, thank you to our sponsors here at the Scratch Golf Show. All that stuff will be in the description. All right, guys, like I said, fifth episode of the Caddy Corner. We have a cool guest, recent PGA Tour winner, Mr. Dean the Dynamite Emerson. Dynamite, how's it going, man? Thanks for jumping on to this morning.
It's going great. Thanks, Marco. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I know we're just talking offline a bit. You've done a few podcasts in the past, correct? This isn't your kind of first rodeo on the podcast game?
No, I think it's my second or third one. Yeah.
Okay.
I did a couple before you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Sweet, man. Well, like I said, thanks for joining. We love doing the caddy stuff. Like I said, these are some of my favorite interviews. I feel like caddies in general don't get enough love. I read a couple articles about you last night. You kind of lug them and chug them or whatever when you guys won, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But before we get into a lot of the caddy stuff, why don't we talk a little bit just about yourself? Can you just do a little bit of an intro, where you're from, how you got into caddying, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm from Lowell, Massachusetts, and I'll try and make it brief and but it's a weird story. So I worked for Pfizer. I was in pharmaceutical sales, sold about 9 different drugs, and Pfizer was going through a round of layoff. They laid off about 2,000 people, and I had to find work. And so I launched a clothing brand. It was called Wicked Irish Clothing. It was out New England's way to say you're Irish, Wicked Irish.
Yeah.
I was working construction. Then this opportunity came up to go launch a lab diagnostics business down in the South. Lab company had no business down there. So got the blessing from my family, packed everything up in my truck, drove down to Raleigh, North Carolina, and launched this lab testing company. Had some success early, joined a golf course called Old Chatham Golf Club down in Raleigh. And the first guy I met there was this kid caddying for me. His name was Grayson Murray. And so Grayson was talking about playing with all the, I didn't know who he was. I mean, I was into golf, but not into golf, if you know what I'm saying. So I had no idea who he was. I was playing golf with a couple of other guys, and we were talking about all the good young golfers, the Justin Thomas, Spieth, Fowler, and Grayson chimes up and says, I played against those guys as a junior. And I'm like, oh, whatever, buddy. Just give me my iron, Anyways, I look him up afterwards, the old Google machine, and it's like, holy shit, this kid wasn't kidding. He was like the Callaway World Junior champion 3 years in a row, and like the only other guy to do it was Tiger Woods. And I'm like, oh man, this kid's legit. He wasn't lying.
Yeah.
So I have lunch with Grayson, and he's like, I'm like, why? I looked into him obviously, and I said, how come you dropped out of 3 schools? And he's like, I just didn't like school. I just didn't like it, and I saw what my peers were doing out on the golf course, and I want to just turn pro and play golf. And I was like, well, what do you need? And so me and a couple of guys raised some funds and got him launched his career. Really, he went out one on the G Tour, one on the mini tours, one on the Corn Ferry or the Web.com at the time.
Yeah,
paid us back, and then was off and running. Now a month later, I say this because this is how my caddy career took off. I mean, I had another kid caddying for me at Old Chatham. And he asked me to caddy for him in the Northeast Amateur Championship, which was up here in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And, it's a couple hours away. And I said, well, I don't know how to caddy. I mean, I know how to play golf, but I don't know how to caddy. He goes, it's not a big deal. We can use the shooters. And I said, okay, well, why don't you come up, meet my family. We'll drive down to Rhode Island. Well, his name was Doc Redman. And Doc, we finished sixth that day in our first event, and a month later, he's like, "Hey, my coach can't caddy in the U.S. Amateur out in California at Riviera. Can you do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to." So
Yeah.
about long story short, he wins in dramatic fashion, beats
Yeah.
Doug in extra holes, and it's just a crazy experience. I'm just sitting in the fairway, like looking at all these beautiful homes on Riviera, and Doc wins the USAM, and it was basically my second time caddying.
That's wild.
So it was, and I didn't really know the magnitude of what had just taken place.
Happened, yeah.
All my golf junkie friends were like, really more excited than I was. I mean, I was excited, but like, they were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into caddying. Short time later, Rob Oppenheim, who's from Massachusetts, he's a journeyman professional golfer,
Yeah.
reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do a couple of events on the Corn Ferry?" I said, "Sure." So I caddied for him in a couple of events, and then he said, "Hey, do you want to do the Corn Ferry Finals?" which was 4 events at the time.
Yep.
He ends up getting his tour card, and he's like, "Hey, the bag's yours if you want to caddy on the PGA Tour."
Sweet.
That's how sorry, it was long-winded, but
No, it's cool. I love it.
How it all happened. I mean, it's just so strange. 1 minute you're selling lab diagnostic, you're caddying on the PGA. So
yeah, no.
Yeah,
First of all, wild story. I mean, you've had some cool experiences. Rest in peace, Grayson. So when we release these sequentially, we're gonna be interviewing Grayson's caddy and releasing that next. So we have some cool stuff coming from the caddy side. But thank you for sharing. I think that's really cool. One, it's also really cool that your second time caddying, you won the USAM. Doc Redmond, obviously, Doc I know has been struggling lately, but won the USAM's a decade guy. Doc was obviously a very, very good golfer. But that's awesome, man. And so you do go. Yeah,
Bill is a very good golfer.
No, I know. No, I know. He, I would say from his. I mean, dude, I play to a +1. Like those guys are so much fucking better than me. Like I would never throw shade at somebody who's playing. Shout out to Doc for still trying to grind it out in the Corn Ferry Tour or the web, whatever they're calling it now. Yeah. The Web.com Tour or Corn Ferry Tour. But no, I know he's a solid guy. He's a decade guy. I've seen a lot of his stuff with Scott. I'm a decade guy myself. Just kind of started doing that this summer. But no, for sure, man. Well, that's an awesome story. You're from Massachusetts. You're a Massachusetts guy, which I love. I can tell with your accent, which is awesome. Wicked Irish. That's awesome. You played college football and you coached high school football, correct?
Yeah. So I like to say I was a high school hero, college. I played 3 different sports in high school: baseball, basketball, and football. And then played at a small Division III school up in New Hampshire, Plymouth State. I think it's Plymouth University now. And then afterwards, after I graduated college, my dad was always a golfer, so I grew up. And I was always like, "How the hell you watch this? It's so boring."
Yeah.
What are you doing? Way.
Yeah.
And then day he just took me to hit some balls, and I remember hitting a 7-iron. It felt really good. It was. So then I just kind of got into golf, and I worked on the grounds at a golf course. My dad, he had gotten laid off, and I'd come home and find work, and I found it at this golf course, and so I helped seed and shape a bunch of greens, and I just got into the sport a little bit more than I did growing up.
No, so. I think it's really cool. One, I think your story is really cool because, like you said, you were, I believe, into your 40s, I'm guessing, when you actually kind of started full-time caddying, which is cool that you kind of reinvented your career. Like you said, I work in tech, so I do this is my my passion project, but I do a full-time job. And it's so cool. We just had the Caddy Clubhouse guys on, Chris Rice and Jonathan Smart, who are kind of starting a business of launching your career into caddying. But, you never know when you can start caddying, and that's why I love it. I think it's such a cool job, and you're still doing it, and I imagine you're still really good at it. Like I said, you just won on the PGA Tour with Patton, which we'll get into. But I want to focus more on the Dynamite brand. I love your hat. I love what you're doing with the picks and stuff. So why don't you tell the people of the Scratch Golf Show a little bit about the Dynamite brand, what it is, the story behind it, and then we'll go a little bit from there after that.
Well, again, it's kind of long-winded.
All good.
State, and all my junkie buddies, we like to gamble on games, and we wake
Yeah.
up. We're kind of on a losing streak, and we were watching, Stu Feiner and
Yeah.
Fred Edelstein and all these guys on TV pregame NFL Sunday, and we're kind of hungover and just watching. All our heads are down, and we need a little spark, let's say.
Yeah.
Came walking through the double doors of the lounge, and I was like, Dynamite likes the New England, grabbing 14 against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is the 80s, and the Niners were awesome,
Yeah.
The Patriots were not good. And so they're like, who the hell's Dynamite? I said, it's me. It's my alter ego. So that's kind of where it started. And the Patriots covered, by the way.
Started hot.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then fast forward to Caddy, and I had to name my business.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're independent contractors, and so I called it Dynamite Caddy Services, LLC.
Nice.
And so I saw a woman who, she worked for Branded Bills, and I said, hey, can you create a hat that, I didn't want to wear, your Nikes and your
Right.
I wanted something different that everybody wears. No offense to those guys, but
Right.
I wanted to create a brand. And I said, can you create a dynamite stick with a golf ball in it? And so I had some hats made.
Yeah.
And people were just like, what is that? What is? And so it grabbed some attention. Then I had some more made, and people wanted them. And then, I launched the website and started selling them on the website.
Yeah.
Giving out pics. Like during COVID, I was walking around the house and saying I'm taking so-and-so. And my wife was like, why don't you put it out on Instagram if you're so good? And I was like, well, I would, but I don't know how to use Instagram. So my kids showed me how. She showed me how, and I'm sure she's regretting it now because I tried and get the show, and she fucking hates it. I got the black eye. I was filming her, and she whacked.
I was gonna ask you if it was a mob hit that you took too much money from somebody in New England.
No, I wish. No, it was just I had some skin removed.
No, for sure.
So I apologize for.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it, bro.
But anyways, yeah. So I trademarked the logo. Started selling some hats. I recently partnered up with the Sanderson Farms to do a collaboration. I changed the color of the stick and put the
cool.
the Sanderson Farms chicken on the side. Sold them in the merch tent, and then we give 10% back to the Caddy Benevolent Fund.
Awesome.
Which is a fund. I believe it's used for if a caddy is in need. They take money from there. So it was kind of a win all the way around. And
for sure.
That's what I'm trying to do with the Dynamite logo. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll talk a little bit about this offline, but I don't have any advertising, so I'd love to, use the platform to support anything. So we'll link that charity or whatever, the Caddy Fund, in the description if you guys want to go check that out. If there's a way we can do that, I'll make sure we do that because, like I said, caddying's very near and dear to my heart, and so we'll try and use a little platform I have to shed some light on that. So awesome, and that's really cool that you did that. I mean, that's awesome that you had Sanderson was just a couple weeks ago, so that's really cool, man. I love it. I think your logo is awesome. I love what you do with the sticks and the half a stick, full stick, 2 sticks. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you have to follow Dynamite on Instagram. What is your Instagram, by the way?
It's at the Dynamite Show.
At the Dynamite Show. I'll link that in the description as well. It puts out some good stuff, gives out some winners. We both, dude, you and me both. I've been on a cold streak as well. I was on the Jets with you the other night. Not great for me. I was on a couple other games. I got smoked this weekend from football perspective.
The good thing, it's only week 8 or week 9, and we've
Right.
got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
We're still on the plus side of the ledger in NFL and in football in general. We're up about 66%. So
nice. So let's transition a little bit about your picks. And obviously, you like to gamble, and no fault to go and gamble responsibly. I like to gamble as well. It is what it is. We all like to, throw our own sticks on some games. But do you have like a strategy when you like pick games? Like, talk to me a little bit about how you kind of go through the board and what your strategy is when you're kind of handing out picks.
I can't reveal what I do. I mean, I've been in the business. I like to say I've been in the business 35 plus years, and I've seen it all, done it all. And so, you mentioned gamble responsibly, and that's what I'm trying to do. Is just, gambling is obviously legal now, where in
Yeah.
the past it wasn't. It was this, kind of behind the doors thing that people did and nobody really
Yeah.
talked about, and it was taboo. And now it's out in the forefront, and there's a million things that you can bet on.
Yeah.
And it's just these gambling companies making money hand over fist. I mean, it's
Yeah.
insane. And I like to keep things simple. I like to just look at the lines. Like I said, experience comes into play. I see lines. If they don't make sense, I dive a little deeper into games. I just wake up and kind of look at,
The
okay,
board.
on a Tuesday, what are the early lines, and how does the money coming in, and where's the line moving, and things of that nature. Injuries, weather, all little details that coaching that will go into me making a selection.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the formula that I use. I mean, generally speaking, but yeah, it's a lot of it is experience and
Yeah.
just
No, you've been
sticking to
around
that
for a long
formula.
time.
I don't do parlays. I've done parlays. Don't
Okay.
do it anymore. I feel like they're a waste of money. But it's funny. Like everybody will be like, "Oh, I just hit a 3-team parlay," but okay, well, how many other
How many did
parlays?
you lose? Yeah.
It's like so. I'm a straight better. Back in the day, there was 4 things you could bet on: an over, an under, a favorite, and an underdog. You'd call in, you'd hang up, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
Now you've got live plays. I mean, by
Touchdown
second,
scores.
and
Over
they're all
unders.
juiced up to the high heavens. I
Yeah.
mean, when I say juice, they're all the vig. You got to be 140 to make $100 and
Yeah.
all this stuff. So I try and keep it simple. I try and keep it responsible. And if you look, I've got a 3-year track record on there.
On
We're
Instagram.
down overall because, let's face it, like football is my bread and butter. I love betting football. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I got a good track record. But in order to keep the show going,
Yeah.
I got to bet baseball, basketball, hockey. And so, like, I recruited Brendan Little,
Okay.
who caddies for Gary Woodland. You might want to get him on the show.
I will. Yeah, for sure.
2-time major winner.
Let's go. Yeah.
He likes to tell me. But he does hockey, and he's very good at hockey.
Oh,
so I
cool.
do the hockey picks. And I'll have guest pickers come in and do basketball and baseball. Little Jordy Batesy does my baseball plays. The guy's won his fantasy league like 20 years running, and
Nice.
I'm not good at baseball or basketball. I'll come in
Yeah.
once in a while. I mean, I know my strengths and weaknesses, and it's like being able to admit, okay, some guys like to say, oh, yeah, I can pick anything, but that's not true.
No.
That's not true. I'm not good
No.
at baseball. I'm not good at basketball. Football, I'm good at it.
No, I get it. I'm the same way, man. First of all, I love how you talk about, you look at the small details. For me, first of all, I grew up playing poker, big Texas Hold'em guy, and grew up, I love to, I mean, dude, I have ADHD, so going to the casino is like my heaven, and that aspect. But like you said, gambling is now legal. You can do it on your phone. I obviously knew how to sports bet, but before 4 years ago, which seems like forever ago, you could only do it in Vegas or go to the casino, or if you had a bookie, right, and the illegal way, which I never did. No, just putting that out there. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to like sports bet, and like you said, it's cool that you admit it. I really only will focus on football, NFL specifically. I don't really do a ton of college. I am a Michigan State guy, but just haven't bet a ton of college lately. The lines are too big for me. I don't watch it enough to feel like I have a good enough understanding of what I want to bet on. I do bet a little college basketball. I'm learning. I more do that after football season, and then hockey I don't even try. I'm not a good bettor at it. Like you said, you know your strengths and your weaknesses, but like you said, there's a million things: over/unders, player props, touchdown scores. I mean, it's all a formula. And like you said, the books are charging. The juice is through the roof. Even the single games, like the straight bets, you're paying high juice on. And so no, I can appreciate that you kind of have a system, you stick to your system, and you have realized that the straight bets are kind of the only way to win long term over the book. Like, yeah, people can get lucky and hit a plus whatever 8-legger, but you only hit one of those or two of those in your life unless you're really lucky. But no, I think it's
are on hitting a 2-team parlay.
not good.
Yeah, it's like fucking 30%.
Yeah, no, I get it, and no, I that's awesome that you, like you said, you put your picks out there, because a lot of people do this in today's day and age of social media, and I'm sure you get a lot of shit about a bad pick. It's like, well, you're putting the pick out there for free, and people want to bitch about it. They can fade you if they really wanted to, like if they're gonna talk shit.
mean, everything's cyclical, right?
Yeah.
Even in gambling, I think I won 16 in a row, and
Yeah.
I lost 5 in a row. And it's like, I remember last year I went 34-1 at one stretch.
Yeah.
And, people only want to know, like, what have you done for me lately? They
Yeah.
forget about the fucking 30 that you won.
Right.
Focus on the 4 you just lost. So,
Yeah.
tough racket. It's a tough racket, but
No.
I enjoy doing it, and it's funny. You walk up and down the range, and you got caddies, players, TV
Yeah.
personalities. Everybody is really talking about sports and
Yeah.
all and who they had, and fantasy and all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah. So
fun to talk about.
yeah. So I know you mentioned you're a big football guy. Do you focus? Like, do you think you're a stronger, better in college or NFL?
I'd say NFL
NFL.
over the years. I would say NFL is probably stronger.
Do you have? Are you a big futures guy? Do you have any do you take out large positions on futures preseason, or you just really only stick to single games?
No, last couple of years I've been doing some future plays. Like last year I had Michigan at 10-1 to win the national championship.
Puke. No, it's cool. I'm a Michigan State, married a Buckeye, so I get it. My whole family's a Michigan fan, though. So
this year I've got Ohio State at plus 425 to win the national championship. I've got the under. I'm looking at my.
No, you're good.
My whiteboard. Sorry.
The lab.
Travis Hunter to win the Heisman.
Okay.
12-1. Excuse me, 20-1. I've got the Longhorns under 10 wins.
Ooh.
And then in the NFL, I had last year I had under the Vikings total wins, and it was like I forget 7.5 or 8.5, and it was an easy winner.
I'd be remiss if I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about my Lions. What your thoughts are on the Lions this year, Super Bowl? What do you think about my Detroit Football Lions this year?
Yeah, I think they're playing great. I mean, I love Dan Campbell. I love their enthusiasm. I love their offense. I think they're looking to grab that guy Smith from Cleveland.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, so I think he would be a great acquisition with Hutchinson going down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love the way the Lions play. I like their intensity. I like everything going on. I think it's pretty cool.
Cool, man. Well, we'll have you on again to do a gambling pod. I want to do some more of that stuff at some point. I could talk about. I'm obsessed with this stuff. I'm obsessed with finding edges on the book. We can. Like I said, I can go a whole different pot, but let's transition to a little bit about your current bag. You currently caddy for Patton Kazire. Tell me a little bit about how you guys met and what's your relationship like kind of off the course.
So Patton and I was caddying for Davis Thompson, just to continue the story with Rob. So Rob had, this is a great thing about Rob. He had an injury, torn labrum, and he wasn't caddying in the, now I had told Rob that somebody had reached out to me and it was an agent.
Yeah.
He said, I've got a world-class player from Georgia that we just signed, and we think you'd be great caddying for him. And I was already with Rob. It was in January, so I wasn't going to leave Rob. But come November, Rob wasn't in the Sanderson Farms. And this was 2020, I think it was. And his name was Davis Thompson. And so I hooked up with Davis. I was with Davis for 2 years, one on the Corn Ferry in his rookie year. Now, Davis called me in August of last year and said he was going to go in a different direction. And Patton called me a couple days later and said he needed a caddy. So I was so blessed and fortunate that he gave me a call. I knew Patton. Me and Rob played one round with him in Vegas. And I hooked up with Patton in Napa of last year. So
wow.
Our 1 year anniversary together, he won.
Yeah. Awesome.
Ironic and so cool. But off the course, Patton lives in Sea Island. I'm here in Lowell, Massachusetts. He texted me this morning to see how my eye was doing, and that tells you what type of guy he is. He's very caring, loving, good family guy. Gets hot on the course every once in a while, but it's
we all do.
Yeah, we do, and that's what I understand. It's just kind of Napa. He was great. I mean, he was just awesome the whole week. He played great. His attitude was great. He faced some adversity. He just chalk it up and move on. And I think that had you know, a big thing to do with why he won.
Yeah. And so if you guys aren't familiar, Patton Kazire hadn't won in, I think, almost 6 years. Going back to 2018, just won on the PGA Tour, the Pro Tour Championship out in Napa. It's probably, 3 weeks now since that week. But obviously an awesome week for you guys. Was that, how many PGA Tour wins do you have, do you take credit for to your name since you were on the bag?
I don't have. That was my first PGA Tour when
Okay.
I won with Davis on the Corn Ferry in North Carolina,
Okay.
and I won with Doc at the U.S.
Yeah.
Open.
Okay. So that's awesome. So that was your first win. So that's got to be like a really cool experience. Like the thing I love in today's day and age about caddies and players, a lot of it is more of like a we thing, right? Like a team. Like it's not just like, and it seems like Patton's, like you said, a very good type of guy. Where I'm sure he's given you a ton of credit on that week. I know you had mentioned in an article that you just felt like it was lug 'em and chug 'em or something, or lug 'em and clean 'em was the way you had felt that week. But I want to focus specifically on something I read in that article. You and you'll have to let me know if this is true, because once again, this is me just in the Google machine. That you,
Yeah.
the week of, you had made a bet or something that every time he hit an exact number on the range, you had to do 10 push-ups. And you ended up having to do 150 push-ups. So can you elaborate a little bit on that and what that was like? And do you think that played any credit at all into him winning that week?
Yeah. So first off, I lug them and scrub them.
Lug him and scrub him. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of what you do when these guys get in that zone. It's just like you stay out of the way, you lug them, you scrub them, you sing songs, you talk about different things, trees, grass. I mean, that was the winning formula that week. He was just awesome. You just kind of stay out of the way. But as far as the hitting the numbers, so Patton has I think it's
Trackman.
a Foresight,
Yeah.
which is the other brand. There's Trackman and Foresight, I think. And so his coach and I were on the range with him, and that device tracks how far you hit the ball. And so we would call out a number, let's say 102 yards. And if he hit that number, I had to do 10 push-ups. Well, during that session, he hit his number 15 times. These were like odd numbers. You'd go from 70 yards to 170. And, I just go,
drop down and give me 10 more.
10 more. So during that session, I ended up doing 150. And to answer your question, yes, I think it did have a lot to do with him winning, because, you do that on the range, you bring it out to the golf course during game time, and you're like, okay, I've already hit this shot. 78 yards is the number we got. This is what I'm hitting. And so it's kind of ingrained in you. So, yeah, I think it had a lot to do with him winning and his success.
Yeah. Do you, so for your process, like, so that week, like, I guess talk me through a little bit about your process. Like, are you giving him, how do you go through finding a number? Do you read a ton of putts for him? What is your guys' process kind of like when you're kind of going through just a tournament week?
So as far as reading putts, I've read one putt for Patton in 1 year.
It was he's a very good putter.
It was in Tahoe. He was like, I don't see what this is doing. 18, can you help me? And I was kind of like looking at the sky and so I helped him, and he made it. It was like 25-footer, and he made it. And so I said, all right, well, I'm done now. I'm not doing that again. And he was walking off the green. He's like, oh, great. I got to fucking ask him to read putts now. But I've read one putt in 1 year. I mean, the guy's that's his claim to fame, is his short game. Put the lights out and chip. I mean, the guy's got phenomenal hands. So no, he doesn't ask me. I'm ready to read him. I mean, I feel like a putter, and I can read greens. But like I said, these guys have been putting since they were 4, and they're playing the same golf courses that they've played for. Patton's played 9 years on tour now. So, maybe once in a while he'll get tricked up, but generally speaking, he knows that stuff. As far as getting numbers and yardages, we kind of do them together. Like, he'll hit a ball somewhere, and they're all marked, as you know, or may not know, on sprinkler heads, and we
Yeah.
have books, and we kind of both get the numbers and verify it, then verify the wind. What's the wind doing? And then we'll adjust and get a number, and he'll grab a club.
Cool. Do you question I just thought of because I'm curious about, and it's something that I somewhat struggle with. I think a lot of amateurs who maybe might watch this struggle. How do you guys go about judging a lie? Like, I always hear these people say, "Oh, it's a flyer lie," or "It's not a great." Like, how do you judge a lie, and how does that affect a number?
I think like I've never had. This is a great question because early on with Davis, we were always airmailing greens, just
Yeah.
airmailing them. We'd get a number and we'd just go over by 20 yards. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. Why do we keep doing this? And after learning, after 10 balls going over the green, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
let's play to the front number. So if the front is 100 yards and the pin's 20 on, you're looking at a 120-yard shot to the
Yeah.
pin. But we started playing it to the front and had more success. Now Patton, he makes the ball jump 15 yards. If it's a fly or lie, he's very good at judging lies in the rough. And I'll always go back to Davis's coach, Eric Eshelman. He's like, Dynamite, these guys are so good that they can make the ball jump. If they don't think it's going to jump, make it jump. And so Patton has the ball jump. We calculate 15 yards for jumping lie. And usually if there's grass behind the ball's going to jump. I mean, it all depends on the grass, too. There's different kinds of grass.
Yeah.
So you just got to take that all into effect.
No, for sure. And I think that's good because, like I said, you guys do it. And I think it's a really skill and it's an art to kind of figure it out, right? Like you said, we play a lot of bent grass here in Michigan. I don't get a ton of flyers, but I hit the ball pretty far. Like I swing it pretty fast. I'm a hockey guy, so I swing, just naturally go at it a little harder. But no, I think that's good insight. Cool, man. Well, one thing I want to talk about since you guys won, how excited are you to go to Augusta in April? Like, is that going to be your first time there?
Well, no, it won't be my first time. It's so when Doc won the USAM, he got a trip.
Okay.
And he played in the Masters. His coach was available at that time to caddy for him, so I wasn't able to caddy for him. But him and his family got myself and my family. I've got 3 boys and my wife. We went down and spent the week there and watched him play. So he got us tickets, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And I said, we could only follow him around, and I wanted to see more action. And I like watching it from my couch because you can see more stuff. But, I mean, It was an incredible experience. And I said, well, I'm never coming back unless I'm in the overalls. And so, God willing, I'll be there in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. We had Derek Smith on, Denny's caddy. They just kind of did it for the first time last year, and yeah, man, we'll have to get you on after and get your overall experience and thoughts. I mean, obviously for any golfer, I mean that's heaven, right? And so I can't imagine. It's gonna be so cool, man. I'll be pulling for you guys that week. Is it Patton's? Obviously, Patton's played there because I know he's a I think 5 or 6 time winner. But cool, man. That'll be awesome. We're looking forward to you guys. So does that win? Just because this is going to sound terrible, but like I don't really understand the fall series, like what it gets you. So does that get you only in the Masters and then some of these signature events? Or are you guys still going to kind of have to play your way into the other majors next year? Or what does that look like from an exemption point after getting the win?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't even know. Here's what I know, that we're focused on the next 10, which they're calling the 51 to the 60.
Yeah.
The fall event is 70 to 125.
Yeah.
We have the ability to get into that 51 to 60, which will get us into more signature events like AT&T, the Pebble and the Genesis.
Yeah.
I know Masters, and I think we're in the Players.
Oh, cool.
Get in that 51 to 60, and I think we're 72nd right now.
Okay.
So if we can move a few spots up and get into that area, that ranking, then we'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, and obviously, from your perspective, you guys want to get into the signature events. Those are, great time to be in pro golf. Obviously, you guys are in this for money and to get paid. So awesome, man. We're pulling for you guys. Are you guys playing Obviously, this is the week of Japan, so
Yeah.
obviously you guys are in Japan. But what is the schedule? Are you guys playing the rest on the way in, or what does your schedule look like for the fall for the rest of the way?
No, I think we've got two more events. I think we're going to play the Cabo event,
And then
the
Sea Island, I'm guessing.
worldwide worldwide technology, and then Sea
Yeah.
Island RSL,
Okay.
and
Cool, man.
that'll do it.
We'll be following you, pulling for you guys. Good luck, and let's hope you guys get in the 51 to 60. Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about your golf game. Do you play a lot? Do you carry a gin? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I used to play all the time. I mean, I used to play, shoot, I don't know, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Now I barely play. Now like, it's beautiful here in New England. Like, if I didn't have this eye thing going on, I'd be playing every day up here. When I can get down to North Carolina during off weeks, I'll go play Old Chatham.
Yeah.
My cap, I think my index right now is 6.7 or something.
Okay.
I used to be a scratch, but it was, the course wasn't overly challenging. Like I couldn't take that scratch handicap on the road. I'd get killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could play. I can chip and putt. I just don't hit it very far.
Yeah. Do you get down to North Carolina a lot? Do you guys have like a second stationary home down there? Because I love North Carolina. It's some of my favorite golf to play is in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's a great spot. No, as I said, I went down about 9 years ago, and my mom, sister, and brother all lived down there. So I would stay with them, and I get down there. Now it used to be, I'd go down 2 weeks at a time when I was launching the business.
Yeah.
But now it's maybe 2 days a month, if that.
Okay.
If I can get down there, I do.
Do you? So obviously, a lot of the caddies tend to play on tour on weeks. Like, do you? So you obviously don't do a ton of that, but do you hang out with a lot of caddies when you're on the road? Like, who are some of your caddy friends outside of? I know you've mentioned a couple already.
Yeah, I stay with Jay Green a lot, who you'll have on your show.
Yep.
Grayson's old caddy. I stay with Brendan Little a lot. Obviously he's an experienced veteran with Gary Woodland's caddy. I mean, I feel like I'm friends with most of them. We kind of all talk, in the caddy area, the caddy lounge when we're eating.
Yeah.
And they usually give me shit about my picks.
You got a lot of the guys sport the hats, man. A lot of the guys on tour are wearing your hat, which is kind of awesome to see. We had
very appreciative of it. I like when you see him out there. Like it was kind of cool seeing a lot of the little kids at Sanderson Farms with hats on. So it was pretty.
Yeah, dude. Congrats on all your success, man. That's awesome. Like I said, I'm trying to grow my brand here, so congratulations. Like I said, I love what you're doing. It's really cool, and thank you for joining. Let's talk a little bit just about golf in Massachusetts. Do you have a favorite course out there, or what's like the golf scene like over in Massachusetts? In my opinion, it's very beautiful. I've never been out there.
Yeah, so we're kind of limited. My friends were talking to me about, because I used to have two membership. I'd have one here at Vesper Country Club, which is down in Kingsborough, and the Old Chatham.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm never around. Why am I doing this? So I kept the Old Chatham one simply for the fact that, I felt like it was a better course, but I can play it more times out of the year.
Right.
You've got maybe, I don't know, 6 months to play, depending on the weather.
Same in Michigan, so I get that.
Right time of year, it's absolutely gorgeous. I have this little 9-hole course down the street called Long Meadow Golf Club, and I take the dog for a walk, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great courses here in New England and in specifically Massachusetts.
Do you ever link up with the Russian? I know he's out in Boston.
Yeah. Russian and I play over at Vesper. He invites me over.
Nice. We want to get him on at some point.
Yeah, he'd be a good interview. He's his story is very interesting too. So
yeah, we've exchanged some DMs. I tried to get him on earlier, I just kind of fell through, and I've been busy. But we're gonna get him on at some point, hopefully. He's a cool one, like you said. Cool, Dean Dynamite. Thank you so much, man. Before we get to the rapid fires, just a quick question: what's your worst experience caddying? You don't got to throw any names, but have you had any like bad experiences or embarrassing moments that you'd be willing to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes. I wouldn't say it was like, bad, and I guess it's all how your player handles it as well. So the one that really comes to mind, and it'll always come to mind, is it was early on in my caddying career on the PGA, and we were playing Bermuda,
Yeah.
and I was caddying for Rob Oppenheim, and we're on the ninth hole, and it's like just straight uphill, and we're getting the number, and the cameras are coming in behind us, and he's got this, I think it was a 145-yard shot. It's kind of into the wind, uphill, and he comes over to me, and he's like, "Do you like 9-iron or wedge?" And I'm like, "Oh, how about something in between?" And so he goes, never mind, I got it. So he hits the shot, and he comes over, he goes, "What the fuck's in between a 9-iron and a wedge?" Well, I was all fucked up because he had these ping irons, and one of the clubs was a gap wedge, and it had
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck was going on, but it's like, what were you nervous because the cameras were there? And I'm like, no, no, not at all. I wanted you to hit something in between. Probably it was more funny than bad.
That's a good one. That's funny.
The nice shot into 5 feet, so we were all set. But
that's
had other embarrassing,
No, that's a good one. I appreciate that.
Because like you're doing numbers really fast, and
right.
Give out a number, you're not even fucking close. Your player will look at you like, never mind, I got it. So.
Cool. Well, man, thank you. That one made me laugh. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll do the rapid fires, then we'll get you out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on today. Favorite golf course?
Man, I like them. I like most of them. I mean, I'm not real spoiled. Like, everybody says Pebble, right? So
yeah.
Obviously gorgeous. I love Pebble, but I like the Tahoe course. I think
everyone has said that. Like 4 caddies have said Tahoe.
Yeah, I love it. I just love the surroundings, and you just feel kind of east there, and it's Tahoe would be probably one of my favorites. Top 5.
Favorite tour stop? Is it also the Barracuda?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Utah.
Okay.
The one we just had, I mean, holy cow. The course was beautiful. The area was nice. The place that we stayed, the Airbnb was great.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's so recent in my mind, but
it looked beautiful.
I couldn't stop talking about it like all week, and then the week after. I mean, yeah, I would say Utah was beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, props to Matt McCarty. What a win for him. Just kind of storming onto the scene.
Shit.
Yeah, he's good. We just had I don't know if you saw. We had Max Togasala. He was in an accident. Was a young kid, had an accident. Ended up playing golf. Now plays golf in a wheelchair. But he was out there with his brother. They were hanging out with Wesley Bryan on the range. I don't know. Maybe you saw him. But
I did.
We just had Max on. We're dropping the interview. We're supposed to drop it yesterday. It's coming out today now. But he had some really cool stuff to say about that golf course. So yeah, hell yeah, man. That place looked awesome. The Black Desert.
I'll check it out. Yeah, it was really neat. I bet you it looked awesome on TV.
Yeah, man. Max told some. Yeah, it looked awesome. He said it was really cool, and he told some really, really inspiring. He's got a really cool story. So if you guys are watching this, check that out. Cool. Lowest round. I know you mentioned you're a 6 handicap. Used to be a scratch. What's your lowest round?
66 on that little 9-hole course that you play 9 holes and you play holes, but from a different tee.
I've played there. Yeah, I played at my old country club here in Michigan. Was a 9-hole, different tee boxes, double greens. So I get it. One mulligan for Patton. Where would you use it and why?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
We've stumped a couple with this question.
All right. His one mulligan would be used on.
Where would you use it and why? We'll go back.
So I would use Patton's mulligan on. This is selfish, but I'd use it when he came on the Dynamite show as a guest picker and went 0 for 5. He was the guest picker on the Dynamite show. We give him 5 college games to handicap with the spread. He went 0 for 5 week 1. So I'm giving him a mulligan to come back on the show later in the season.
Oh, yeah. You had Harry Higgs on as the guest picker. I think Harry did pretty well, no?
Harry's the leader in the clubhouse at 4-1. Yep.
Okay.
And then Will Gordon was 3-1-1.
Okay. Well, hey, if you ever need a guest picker, let me know. I'm available.
All
Maybe
right.
later in the
All right.
season. I'd
Later
love
in
to
the
come on
season,
sometime.
we'll get you.
Caddy role model. Do you have one?
I mean, they're all great to me. I take a little bit of something from everybody. You can learn a little tidbit here and there. I mean, I'm basically new to it. I mean, this is my 5th year, I think.
Yeah.
Some guys been doing this for 20 years or longer. So taking a little bit here and there from. I mean, obviously I hang out with Brennan quite a bit, and he's been around the block and won a couple of majors. So, if I ever have questions, I talk to him. Scotty Vale, Keegan's caddy.
Scotty's awesome.
Yeah, those guys they've been around the block and have some good advice. But even the younger guys, Jay Green's obviously exceptional at what he does, and so I take a little bit from everybody and try and make it my own. It's the American way.
Yeah, right. Cool, man. Well, last question, and then we'll get you out of here. Coolest golf moment of your life?
Oh my gosh. Well, so all the wins, obviously. With Doc and Rob Oppenheim getting his card, Davis winning on the Corn Ferry, Davis being in the final group with John Rahm out in the desert. That was pretty cool. And Patton, obviously, taking the cake. All of them great moments. But I have to say, winning the member with my dad was probably the best. I made this eagle putt on the last hole, get us into a playoff, and we won. And so that was probably the coolest golf moment, personally speaking.
No, for sure, dude. I get that. My dad, my dad watches all my videos. Big supporter of mine. Got me into golf. Is my role model. He's awesome. So I can appreciate that. I love the time and quality I get to spend with him when I'm on the course. And like I said, Dad, if you're watching this, thank you. Wouldn't be here without you. Cool. But before we sign off, guys, any last minute messages you want to plug the brand, anything at all? We've had a number of different things. I don't have any advertisements outside of my couple that I plugged earlier, but any sign-off message, anything you want to say, any socials, plug whatever you want, then we'll let you go, man. Thank you so much for jumping on today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Marco. No, I mean, nothing. No, just, follow the Dynamite Show on Instagram, and I hope that people enjoy the entertainment side of it, and I keep picking winners for them. Win it. And, I'll send you some links for the Caddy Benevolent Fund. If people want to donate or whatever. And I'll also, if you send me your address, I'll send you some Dynamite gear.
Absolutely, man. Well, guys, that's Dean the Dynamite Emerson, 5th episode of the Caddy Corner. That's it. Thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe below as to what your favorite part was. Thanks, guys.